Welcome back. It's still the Saturday morning show, 92.3 Nigeria Info. My name is Sam Oracle Chinedu. It's a couple minutes past 9 a.m. And at this time every Saturday morning, it's Stand Out with Mr. Patrick Uduma. Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday to you too. Happy weekend. How you doing?
Same to you, Sammy.
It's nice to have you here with us.
It's always good to see you with your energy.
This energy, I wonder where it is. Hey, it's all good. I'm happy to be seen and to see you too. How has your week been?
It's been awesome. Keep learning. It's always interesting. This part of the year, you learn new things, put new structures and system and processes as well too.
Okay. That's interesting. Now, conversation for this morning is a continuation of the conversation from last week. A couple of points made. Rhythm is a recurring pattern, repeated pattern. People recycle life instead of evolving. When life do you, you're repeating. When you do life, you're evolving. Of course, we talked about making choices, which is your divine right, the root of rhythm, steps to breaking the rhythm. I'm particularly interested in that one. Question the truth and reality, question your storyline, question the associated belief system. Yes, indeed. Those are some of the points made. Now, we have to continue in that particular series. So this is Rhythm Break, the sequel.
So have you heard people who said they got married, the first one, they divorced, and they got married again, they divorced again?
Yep.
And they want to try the third one, it happened and all that. That's sequence.
It's a pattern.
It's a pattern. You know, why do such thing happen? Have you ever seen people who at a stage of their life they lost a job, and that repeated again in their son's life?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Then that story was also continued in
Like generational pattern.
like generational pattern. Yeah.
I've heard of something like that. Yeah.
Or maybe you'll see people who run an organization and people keep stealing and people keep stealing. Or you have a child who keep repeating the same attitude and you get upset and all that. Or your husband keep repeating the same mistake and the same cycle and never get to break.
Or there's anybody in this family who ever gets to this age.
Stuff like that.
That happens too.
Or maybe you see that a generation of sisters, they marry. And so there's a continuation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people say it's a generational curse.
Yes, that's what is attributed for that.
Yeah. Or you see that a daughter or a son is repeating exactly what the father has repeated.
Yeah.
There are a whole lot of factors as well too. But people don't get to ask questions. And in part of this Africa, part of this world, Africa, we don't experiment.
Well, I don't think they have the patience for it.
That's the point. And so if you don't have a patient, time and patience, you really can't evolve because the experimentation. Take for instance, people go to church, right? And they hear the same word. They don't even take time to look at people who have gone through the same cycle and see the benefit. And cycle, what is? You will see people who is under a guy or a leader, and you see that leader is constantly progressing, breaking ground, and you're admiring the person, but yet you still stay in your own cycle. You don't wonder where am I getting it wrong? But what you're thinking is to collect the effects from the guy, not the spirit of the guy. We talked about that effect and the spirit. Okay, so don't you realize that a guy writing to the Romans said, don't you realize that grace frees you to choose your own master? Grace gives you the power to choose your own master. But choose carefully. That means it's within you, not outside you. Nothing can pressurize you.
That's right.
For you, who you surrender yourself to, you become the servant. Born to the one you choose to obey. If you choose to love disorder, it will become your master and it will own you and reward you with that, which is recycling.
Okay.
Because recycling is almost that you are in a death pattern. You're not progressing, you're not alive. But if you choose to love and obey God, he will lead you into a perfect rightness. Our life is a matter of faith and not sight. What is seen now is temporary. What is not seen is eternal. We are saved by hope because we possess within us everlasting consolation and good hope through grace. Sam, a conclusion reinforces belief that empowers reality. Conclusion reinforces belief that empowers reality. Let me explain it. If I conclude that I'm poor, because in the physical manifestation, I don't see what I consider to be rich, that creates a strong conclusion, and it reinforces that belief, and it will perpetuate your poverty.
What if I conclude an act in the opposite? I conclude I'm poor, but I work hard.
That's a different. You see, now you are changing the dynamics. So now, if you conclude and stay in that belief, it recycles you. You know how people say they failed a particular subject. I can't pass it. They won't make effort. You see people going to class and say, I can't pass it. So be guided by imagination on a promised word than to be controlled by experience in a memory. Be guided by imagination on a promised word than be controlled by experience in memory. You either see yourself as a victim of life, limited and bounded in history of wrongs, hurts, unproductivity, not achieving, like a liability, or you are owning your life, engaging life as an asset that is productive, courageously breaking forth, because higher performance guarantees health and happiness. So let's look at practical reading break. Number one will be courageously define our reality without assuming you know. Now, there are two kinds of realities, dark reality and light reality. So let's look at it. If I define, there was a day I defined my reality.
Okay.
I was a yes member. I wanted to please everybody. Now, what is that root of that recycling? Was because there was a root of insecurity in me. So I wanted to be accepted or belong. That yes member denied me ability to say yes or no. Because if I say no to you, I feel that I will lose the grip of our bondness.
That's the fear. Yeah.
That's the fear. Right? So until that moment, I told myself I own my life. And I choose who like me and who won't like me. Because when you seek likeness and approval, you give power to the approver or to the people you want to be liked.
That's true.
Do you understand?
You empower them.
Now, but I can create my likeness through my deliberate, conscious character exhibition. When I model that character, it becomes very attractive. If I have a noble, prestigious ideas expressed well, it will be like a gold placed on a silver. So define that point. Okay, if you said nobody marries in our house, it is a truth that has been experienced by the truth in others, not your own truth. So ask yourself, how are you contributing to the reality? That's the second one. We contribute to the reality that was called reality. Remember that your reality is not the circumstances repeating itself. It is the supporting thought pattern that create that reality. Sammy, if something happens to you now, right? It's not that thing that happens to you that affects you. It's your thoughts on that thing that affects you.
Yeah.
It's a thought pattern. So it means that thing is useless until you give it a thought of value and assign it importance. And that's actually how you relate with it. So Remember, it is your visual connection to the cycle that is influencing the music that is playing in the command center, which is the issue of life. What do I mean by this? We talk about what they call visual delight. How you see things is how you connect to it. And that's how it affects your brain system, that connecting to your heart. Don't forget, the heart of your heart are the issues of the life. What are those music that's singing in your heart? It comes from how you define a thing. A particular young man came to me and asked me, I want to get married. What do you advise? I said, the day you start seeing your wife wrong or good, that's the end of that marriage.
Okay. So how should he see her instead?
As whole.
As whole?
Whole. Nothing broken, nothing missing. We didn't know some of these things, Sammy.
Say that again.
The day you start seeing your wife from bad or good, not as whole, that's the beginning of crisis.
And whole is a balance?
Is a balance. Is a unifying factor. Is the attitude. Is the grace.
Huh. Okay. Now I'm thinking about my own situation.
That's why you see, when you start seeing your work as bad or good, it creates a mood swing. And this is the frequency and modulation that people don't understand. I mean, I took time to make a research because, of course, I've had challenges in marriage. And I'm learning some of these through deliberate research and experimentation. Number 3, it is the feeling that attached to the rhythm that creates the dance. Remember, it is a force of belief that is providing the repeating occurrence. Feeling is very powerful. If you want to change your life, change the feeling attached to life. Number 4, the power of your action is the expression that creates a loop channel that causes the endless flow. Your action. And there's a life there. So, this is how we're going to look at it. Explore your reality by carefully considering other people who are in a similar experience. So take yourself out. Check out people who has passed through that and make a critical assessment on how they have coped or how they have subdued or whether they are still in that recycled moment. Sometimes we don't shift. For instance, when I was trekking in this town and I see people, the fact that I knew people of my status drive a car gave me something different to feel. So, that they say, rejoice with them that rejoice. Now, if you are sad with them that are sad, you keep recycling. If you rejoice with them, you keep shifting your focus on the possibilities. Then number 4, do you have any form of strength in responsibility? Or are you losing through blaming and fear? Now, when you focus on blame and complain, you assign the responsibility externally. But when you own that responsibility, that's the beginning of the end of that cycle or that rhythm. Because responsibility empowers, blame subdues. Do you still have trust in God? It's either you are trusting and surrendering or you are struggling and being exploited. And one of the things to know about your life, whether you're going to break the rhythm, is either you are recycling, either you are surrendering or you are what? Struggling. That's it. So here's what I have learned through it all. Leave all your cares and anxiety at the feet of the Lord, and there's a measureless grace will strengthen you. Number 2, let us establish 2 forces that create rhythm. The restraining forces, weak resolved. Right? People make weak resolve. They are in weak resolve. They don't pay attention to it. Emotional entanglement about issues.
Okay.
Then you talk about mood modulation. mood swing. Have you seen these people who have mood swing? It's difficult for you to save them. Then fear of reputation. That fear of itself creates that reputation, because what you fear more entangles you more. Unwillingness to seek external help. The people, no matter how it is, they will never look for external help, whether by reading, whether by counseling. And you have what they call the driving force. This is where you have a clear identity of yourself, establish the depth of your purpose, objectify your life meaning, upgrade your optimistic energy, make a promise, that's a commitment, honor your commitment, dwell more on what is good, on going well, practice unconditional dance as joy leads, build yourself with world and work, reframe the world associated with your reputation, look ahead. You're not a victim. You are a conscious builder of life. You are in rightness. You dwell in goodness. You are redefining the standard. You are setting up a new standard. Rightly do it, rightly think, rightly feel, and rightly believe.
Okay. Rhythm Break, the sequel, aka part 2. Why do people submit to certain patterns? That's how you began. Grace frees you to choose your own master. You become a servant to who you surrender yourself to. Our life is a matter of faith and not sight. What is seen is temporary. What is not seen is eternal. Now, you went on to ask questions. How am I contributing to the reality? Your reality is created by supporting thought pattern and not by recurring events. How you see things is how you connect to it. It is a feeling attached to the rhythm that creates the dance. Do you have any form of strength in responsibility? Responsibility empowers, blame subdues. Of course, many more points were made, but these were the ones taken down. Now my question, and very quickly you have to answer this. Should you make deliberate efforts to break the cycle, or is believing differently enough? Let's say one of the examples we gave where people realize that nobody goes above 50 in that family, no man. And you saw or heard that your grandfather died at 49, your own father, and it's something that you see, even though you don't know how this is happening, but it is happening. So, do you just believe differently and that's enough for your own story to change, or do you make deliberate efforts to break that cycle?
That work without faith. It's like people doing affirmation without a corresponding action. How does it work? Deliberate. And now, when you start, the starting point consumes more energy. Okay. It's like when an aeroplane is breaking into the air. It requires a whole lot of momentum and power.
Yeah.
And that force will want to restrain your back. So you need that. That is daily practice. And this is how to do daily practice. This is how I started. Make yourself a commitment. I won't be like this. I grew up in 8 boys, right? And I saw that they were going in a cycle. And I watched their belief system. I watched their actions. I watched their associations. I watched their belief system. I said, I'm going to be different. And part of how to build that, every morning, you make a commitment to make my bed. It's not just about making that bread. It's about breaking you are consistently engaged. You honor your commitment. And that honoring your commitment pushes you, when it just builds your muscles.
Yeah. There's a firepower that pushes you to the next. Yeah.
And once you conclude one, you will beget another one.
Yeah.
But if you don't conclude, you will never get to start another one.
Yeah, that's true. Just basic doing house chores.
Basic doing house chores.
When you finish one, you're fired up to try something else.
Try another thing. That's why most parents are failing. They are not empowering their children consciously to make an effort. They have all house help. Nothing wrong with that. But you don't build their stamina. You build their mental capacity. But when they go outside there, where it requires work and effort, they lose the stamina.
Okay. So belief system is one. You must work to support it.
You must work, yes. Don't just affirm, but apply work as well too.
Interesting. What's happening with standout?
We're going to talk about a prestigious man.
Okay.
It's amazing. If you're going to attract everything in this world, there are things you need to know. Prestigious.
Okay. When is that happening?
On the 5th of February.
Okay, so we're gearing up for the first engagement for the year.
Yes.
Interesting. 5th of February.
We can't be the
prestigious
same like we've been yesteryears.
Okay. That's nice to know. All right, for those who want to connect with Standout, how do they do that?
Yeah, go to our www.soistandard.com and download some previous edition of what we have said before and empower your life. Or follow us at Standard, So I Stand Out in all the social media. You can connect with me with 0033 411 451. 0033 411 451.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Thank you, Sammy. Don't recycle, recreate.
Okay. Have yourself a wonderful day.
You too.